Does anyone have a question?
I was noticing today during the meditation, there's a lot of very random things from the past, like coming up. And then I was just putting them in the hara. It was very jumbled. The energy was amazing, but it was very strange. These unrelated memories were popping up.
Well, they're not unrelated memories. They're things you've repressed inside yourself that you haven't quite worked through yet, that are buried inside you that come up. And when they do come up, then it's really the craft of the meditation to integrate them with the Shakti that flows through the chakra system. And if drawn down into the third chakra below the navel, they will be transformed into chi. They will flow through the sexual, and then you will burn them up. But all of those images are things repressed inside us that we've been kept. Rudy once wrote a very wonderful little fable, and it had to do with two monks came to a river. And there was a woman at the river who couldn't cross. And these monks had both taken vows of being celibates, of being, everything, sannyasins, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the monks walked up, picked up the woman and carried her across the river, put her down, continued to walk to wherever they were going. And both monks were walking. One of them who carried her was silent and continued to walk. The other one kept complaining about the fact that he's impure and he picked up this woman, and he went on and on and on. Finally, the first monk stopped and looked at him and said, "Look, I picked her up, brought her across the river, I left her there and continued to walk. You're still carrying her with you." And we carry those old images with us. We bury them inside, we repress them inside, and they slow down the process of spiritual growth. So that, when they do come up, it's really a wonderful thing. And then the training in the meditation enables one to bring those repressed energies into the chakra system and transform them and leave them at the river. We don't have to continue to walk with them anymore. So what you're experiencing is not a negative thing. It's an incredible opportunity to truly get free of things that have been, blocking your inner growth, and by using this incredible craft that we have in meditation to do it.
Thank you, Stuart. That's so helpful.
You're welcome. Trying to help. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Stuart, I have a question, Bob Sink.
Yes, Bob.
So when I send these types of things to the Hara,
yes,
my job ends there, yes?
No, it doesn't end there. Then your job is to draw them through the sexual area to the base of the spine, where the Kundalini force will just burn them up. In the sexual area, they will be transformed. The human becomes the spiritual. And at the base of the spine, all of that negativity will just get burnt up. Becomes fuel for the Kundalini rocket ship that will take you to God.
Thank you. That's the piece of the puzzle. Thank you.
You're welcome, Bob.
So, Stuart, am I understanding that these emotions, these things that come up, they're actually helpful in that way?
Well, they're a reminder that you are being blocked by these tensions. And then they're a reminder that you're learning a craft that can truly free you of all these things. I mean, what do therapists do? They sit and you talk to them and go into the past and try to bring up all of this stuff, but they have no technique of what to do with all that stuff except analyzing it. And that usually doesn't get us anywhere. You know, so we have a technique. It requires the will to do it. It requires the need to have a spiritual life. It requires an enormous effort on the part of a human being to get free of these repressed energies that are keeping us from truly experiencing a state of enlightenment, a connection with God. That's why they come up. These things are buried in the unconscious. They're buried in so many areas inside us, the emotions, the mind, and we cling to them, and they just become always reasons why we don't grow, why we keep ourselves from growing. When they come up like that, that's a reason to transform them. They're just reminding you the work you have to do inside yourself. So they're not negative. Nothing is negative in this world, you know? I mean it. It's only negative because we perceive it as being negative. But if we perceive it in another way, it becomes a reminder, a lesson that of what we need to do to continue to grow. Everything is one's teacher. All of life is one's teacher. It just depends upon how we view the world and how we view our inner selves.
That was so profound, Stuart. Thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, look, I have to teach these classes and go to a place where I'm literally at my best. Otherwise, it's a waste of my time and it's a waste of all of your time. And your questions bring these things out of me. It's wonderful. That's why I keep telling you, ask questions. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Yes, Stuart, when one's going through a particularly challenging time, whether it be physical pain or having distraction, having a hard time focusing in class, is there anything extra we can do? Any affirmations, anything that can help us with that?
I mean, look, Eva, if you just, if you're going through that, take 3 or 4 minutes, just listen to your breathing. The so hum. And just listen to that. The so as you inhale, the hum as you exhale. And just let the tension dissolve. It will dissolve the tensions inside you. During the day, if you're feeling that type of, blockage in yourself, just let your arms drop at your side and say, please help me to surrender all negative psychic tension. That surface tension will flow right out of you. We have to, look, the best way to fix all those blockages is just to feel gratitude. Get to a place in yourself where you're grateful. Your heart opens, there's love inside you. That will fix all that. All of that will just transform itself. All of that will dissolve in sheer, just simple gratitude for one's life. Be grateful for your problems. I mean, that might sound masochistic to some of you, but it's really not. because the problems are reminding you that you have to continue to develop your craft inside. You have to continue to build your inner life. That will dissolve your problems. Instead of fighting them, and arguing with them, getting into some kind of battle with them, just be grateful for them. Okay, I'm a schmuck. I allow you to take over. I allow you to control my life. All right, you are reminding me that I have to grow. I need to mature inside myself. Where, my financial problems no longer interfere with my spiritual life. My family problems no longer interfere with my spiritual life. My physical problems no longer interfere with my spiritual life. I have to grow to that place inside myself where I can truly manifest that. So again, there's nothing negative. It's just the way you see the world and how you use what manifests in your life. And truthfully, we owe this to ourselves. We owe this to ourselves. We don't want to walk around like some stuffed animal, stuffed with what? Tension. You really want to get free of that. So listening to your breathing, that will relax you. Understand? Getting centered in the chakra below the navel, that will relax you. Listening to the Om sound, that will relax you. And then you have the breathing technique to open yourself so that you can be nurtured by higher energy, and that will really relax you. That will take you to a place inside yourself that you never dreamed you could ever get to.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have a question? I mean, it gets down to a very simple reality. There's no internal and there's no external obstruction that a human being can't learn how to use to help them get closer to God. I mean, the Buddha said it, suffering is the fastest path to God. These aren't my words, it's the Buddha said this. And he was absolutely right. Because it's a constant reminder every day that we have to grow. And you don't have to manufacture suffering to do this. Everybody's going through it in one way or another. Everybody. There's something they have to deal with in their life. It's not easy. I mean, I've been teaching class every month. I don't talk about my problems here. But the simple, I could barely walk. I'm starting to begin to walk again. My ankles, I twisted my ankle and all kinds of, a case of gout and all kinds of problems. I had three crowns put in my mouth in the last month. All of this could have said, no more classes until I'm finished. No. None of it acted as an obstruction to me sitting here and connecting with all of you. As I say, every meditation class is one step closer to my enlightenment. So why am I going to let a hurt ankle interfere with this? Or some crowns or some this or that, whatever happens, So we all have internal and external obstructions. Then it's how we see them, how we use them. Do we grow because of them, or do we defeat ourselves because of them? There's always an excuse. All right, I got this, I stubbed my toe, I got to go see my uncle so-and-so, I got to go here, I got to go there. I mean, one of the most horrible things I ever read in the Bible was so profound. that it shook me to the core of my being when I read it. You know, where two of Christ's disciples came to him and said, you know, we have to go to the funeral of an uncle or something like that, you know? And he looks at them and he said, let the dead bury the dead. You know, follow me to life. And I mean, it's such an outrageous thing to say, but it's so profound. It is so profound. We allow everything to take us away from our spiritual practice. It's not that you don't love your relatives and you know, but it's really this incredible commitment to an inner life that doesn't allow any external obstruction to interfere with one's spiritual growth. And you get to a place where you do what you have to do to grow spiritually, not what you want to do in order to get through the day. That takes guts. Does anyone else have a question?
I have a question, Stuart.
Yes.
My elderly cat has been in late stages of kidney disease, and I've been working with her every week because she responds to love and calming and energy. And I have found that for the last 2 weeks, when I put my hands on her back where her kidney is, she perks up and I feel this incredible energy surging through me, and I just surrender it to her.
What is your question?
That energy that's surging through me, I feel like it's helping my animal. And I'm asking you what you think about that.
About healing your animal?
Working with her, yes.
I mean, that's your animal. If you want to do hands-on healing with them, that's your choice. You know, I'm not in there to say yes or no whether you should do that. At the same time, don't let that interfere with coming here, because you know you're taking that poison out of your animal into your system, and you need a way to burn it up.
Okay.
You know, but whether or not you should do that with a cat, or you know, it's not a question that I can answer for you. You know, but just be careful. You know, I mean, I remember when I was staying at Winnie's house and 2 of her cats died, and she said something to me that was very profound. She said the cat looked at her and said, "I'm going to die." You know, and the cat died. You know, I mean, it really went through me when she told me that, because it's very, very profound. So listen to your cat, you know, and let the cat teach you what really is in store for the cat. I mean, I've done this with human beings, you know. I mean, I've told you this story many times, where I was sitting with a student of mine who had AIDS, and he had Kaposi sarcoma and had scales all over his body, and he'd been living like that for months. Couldn't get out of bed, couldn't do anything. And I remember I said to him, I'll never forget this. It was so, I mean, it really moved me. I said, look, I said, you know, I said, why don't you let go? I said, you're struggling and suffering so intensely that if you just let go, you're going to come back to this world as a beautiful baby with everything to live for. Everything to live for. You're going to bring everything you learned about spiritual growth into your next lifetime. And I was sitting right next to his bed, and I said, and he looked at me and he just shook his head and he said, yes, thank you. The next day he left. So you have to listen to people, you have to listen to cats, you have to listen to dogs. Let them teach you really what their karma is. And it's dangerous, and I don't think very good to interfere with birth, and it's very good, not good to interfere with death. They are two totally organic things, and they are very essential for the evolution of the soul and the evolution of the human race and the animal race. So I would listen carefully and then act accordingly.
Thank you so much, Stuart.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Does anyone else have a question? Same thing happened with my mother. I just sat there and said to her, you can leave. I can take care of myself. My sister can take care of herself. You can leave. Why continue the suffering? And next day she left. Okay, if there are no more questions, then God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for dragging this out of me. I'm learning also. So God bless you all for being here, for being part of this group. And there'll be a class tomorrow evening. I'm hoping to see everybody. So thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you.
Thank you.